It's now 6 o'clock right here on Big Breakfast. Today FM, today's hit music.
Hey, I'm Pauline.
And I'm Alan. Tune in to the Breakfast Show on Today FM with Pauline and I every weekday morning
From 6 a.m. to 9 a.m.
right here on Today FM, today's hit music.
Today FM, today's hit music.
Good evening, this is FBC News. I'm Jackie Spate. In this bulletin, government secures new bond. Climate change protesters arrested. And Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama to highlight climate change at UN meet. Fifteen people were arrested by the police for protesting outside the Australian High Commission in Tamavua, Suva today. They were protesting against Australia-New Zealand's stance on climate change at the Pacific Islands Forum meeting. Julie Vatuwaliwali reports.
Motorists on Princess Road were caught by surprise by this group of people. Feminist activist Nikki Wallen joined members of non-government organizations in a spontaneous protest outside the Australian High Commission.
Because we all know the crisis that we're all in, and it's very important that Australia and New Zealand partner up with the Pacific Islands in these current times, these crucial times of development and processes.
Australia and New Zealand have agreed to disagree on the Pacific's call for emissions to be lowered to the point where global temperatures would not increase more than 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. The two countries are opting to stick to their target of 2 degrees Celsius, saying that any further reduction would have an adverse effect on their economies. Viva Tatawanga of Pacific Partnership Gender, Climate Change and Sustainable Development says they will keep fighting until both the countries hear the voices of the Pacific.
All doing this for our survival of our land, of our homes, of our oceans. That is why we are risking ourselves to come on the line this far to make some noise.
As the protesters tried to get their message across, police officers arrived on the scene to take them in for questioning.
So we can confirm that 15 people were taken in for questioning today at the Samambolo police station for allegedly gathering without a permit. They will be questioned and then they will be released as investigations are ongoing into the incident.
Police spokesperson Anna Naisoro says a file on the matter will be forwarded to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions for sanctioning. Julie Vatuwaliwali, FBC News.
Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama will be highlighting Fiji's fight against climate change at the United Nations General Assembly in New York. However, Bainimarama told FBC News he cannot give details as he is yet to finalize his program at the high-level meeting. Bainimarama leaves the country tomorrow night to attend the 70th General Assembly. The annual general debate will begin at UN headquarters on Monday. Member states will gather in New York from Friday for the Sustainable Development Summit. The Kandavo Provincial Council strongly opposes and will not tolerate sedition activities within the province. Council Chairman Ratusedi Nawalowalo says involvement in such illegal activity does not benefit their people. Savara Tambua has more.
Members of the Kandavo Provincial Council at the meeting today discussed the threat of anyone involved in sedition-related activities. Council Chairman Ratusedi Nawalowalo says the province supports the government and will not condone any illegal activities, sedition or otherwise.
We all know the penalty for that, so might as well get away from it. So our advice to the people not to be involved in that kind of sedition. So thanks to the minister for giving us that advice, and we accepted it.
Also on the agenda was the discussion of the Kandavo economy worth an estimated $68 million. This comes from its growing agri-based sector in Yangon, Nantalo, pine and fisheries. Commissioner Eastern Luke Morebalo stressed that given the economic potential of the province, it needs to be managed better.
Issues like the way forward, like basic financial management. Farmers' inability to use funds so that the desired result is achieved. The commitment of the Banua and the church in the village to assist farmers so that they move in the right direction.
Participants also raised the need to have better biosecurity services to improve the quality and quantity of their exports. Illegal drugs were also part of the deliberations, with members calling for more severe penalties. Sabira Tambua, FBC News.
High Court Judge Justice Paul Madigan has set a date next month for a voir dire hearing in the case of 16 people from Ra who are charged with sedition and urging communal antagonism. Their lawyer applied for the voir dire hearing. Aman Singh told the authorities did not advise his clients that their statements taken during questioning by police could be used against them in a court of law. The state has agreed to produce the interviewing officers as its witnesses in the hearing. Justice Madigan has also advised the state to provide full disclosures to the defense lawyer at the earliest in the case of 45 people charged with sedition-related offences. Outspoken opposition MP Nico Nawaikula has been labelled the president's opening parliament address as entirely disappointing. Nawaikula told the House that the speech was lacking in depth and content, and this was the fault of government. He adds there is a need to review the constitution to make it more inclusive of indigenous rights.
The need for a constitutional review commission. Secondly, the need for a truth and reconciliation commission. And thirdly, the need to protect and recognize indigenous rights in accordance with UNDP and ILO within our constitution. I believe the best way to address this is through dialogue and the establishment of a joint committee to start the process. We must talk. We must talk sometime.
Nawaikula was responding to the motion before Parliament to thank the President for his opening speech. In the news ahead, vendors proud of new market facilities in Nausori.
FM Central Rental
Oya wawati soni dalai.
Vanga ya mozidonu.
Nama kikirau mena tolu kene bitu. Ena via kabi moliti kene porombuka.
Goria na lali ne kabi. Bula FM number 2 ena sere.
The government has secured a new sovereign bond from a US insurer to pay off a previous bond, which matures next year. The Attorney General and the Minister of Finance, Ayaz Said Qayyum, says they have secured the new bond at a rate of 6.625%, and this is less than the previous 9% bond. Chanel Sivan reports.
Fiji has bought the existing bond at the new rate, meaning Fiji will save about $100 million over the next 5 years. The previous 9% bond was due to the turbulent and volatile market conditions and global financial crisis. Instead of buying the new bond in March, the government has bought it now.
We could not alert the market, otherwise we would be subject to market speculation and therefore higher pricing, and would have been a price taker if we went to the market late. This outstanding tender result of 97.25% success rate is one of the highest success rates achieved for sovereign bond in the past few years for similar tender offers of buyback in the market.
Said Qayyum says with the new interest rate, Fiji's debt level falls by $93 million. Fiji will now raise US $200 million instead of US $250 million.
The commission rate paid to ANZ as the lead manager and book runner was also lower than the commission paid by the SDL government when it raised the bond by using JP Morgan. Let me give you a contrast, Madam Speaker. In 2006, JP Morgan charged 0.85%, which was US $1.274 million for a US $150 million issue. And ANZ charges are 0.55%, which is $1.1 million for a higher amount of US $200 million issue.
Some of the bondholders include pension funds investors from Asia, investors from Europe, Bank of New York Mellon, and Alliance Global. Chanel Shivan, FBC News.
The National Federation Party leader Professor Biman Prasad says there is a lack of dialogue both within and outside Parliament between members. Prasad says in the past, leaders from across political divide mingled together and discussed issues informally. He says during these informal talks arose policies that were beneficial to the people and supported by all sides.
The Prime Minister, Leader of the Opposition, and I have not had even an informal conversation, let alone a cup of tea together, apart from sometimes highs and hellos during parliamentary breaks.
Prasad says dialogue is necessary for national unity and inclusiveness. Today marks the World Maritime Day, when mariners around the world gather to showcase and celebrate the achievements of the maritime industry. The theme of this year's celebration is the appreciation of maritime education and training, which hopes to inspire many young people to join the industry. Akusita Tale was at the celebration and files this report.
The celebration is aimed to focus attention on the importance of shipping safety, maritime security, and the maritime environment. A wreath was laid at the Suva foreshore today, followed by a 5-minute silence observed to remember those that have lost their lives at sea. In addition, the event seeks to bring young people into shipping and maritime industries.
To our youth and high school students, the maritime industry has a lot to offer. I wish to raise a misconception on the maritime industry that is purely a seagoing career. Therefore, I ask the youth and the high school students to visit various booths over the next few days to inquire on these career opportunities.
This year, a Maritime Careers Expo is also being held to serve as a platform for career development in the maritime industry.
I call upon the maritime stakeholders to continue to pursue how best we as an industry can generate employment for all Fijians and career opportunities for our aspiring seafarers.
World Maritime Day was first celebrated in 1978 to provide an opportunity from IMO member governments to raise awareness of maritime community. Akusita Tale, FBC News.
A 45-year-old labourer of Nandera died when a truck rolled back and hit him in Buavanolevu. The victim was standing behind the 7-ton truck and it rolled backwards. The incident occurred at Nasauto settlement. The victim was rushed to Nambawalo Hospital but was pronounced dead. A post-mortem on the deceased will be conducted soon. The vehicle will be inspected as part of police investigations. Education Minister Dr. Mahendra Reddy has confirmed in Parliament this morning that the alleged leaked sections of 2 exam papers will not be marked. A point of order was raised by an opposition MP questioning what steps the ministry is taking in regards to leaked exam papers. Dr. Reddy says what he has seen so far is a screenshot of 2 pages of different subjects, which was circulated on social media.
We want to know, was it a full paper? Madam Speaker, to date, we have not seen the leakage of full paper except the Photoshop of 2 pages. What we have decided, Madam Speaker, that page, the questions on the page will not be marked, will not be utilized. The rest of the paper will go ahead.
The Fiji 8th examination began today and ends on Friday, whilst the Fiji 6th examination will be sat by students on Friday. We turn to sports now. Here's Jamie with the latest.
Thank you, Jackie, and good evening. In sports up ahead, an update from the Flying Fijians camp as the clock winds down to the all-important match against Australia. And it will be business as usual for Wallaby centre Tevita Kurindrani when he takes on his fellow Fijians tomorrow. Find out more after the break.
जहां हम आपको और भी सुंदर बनाते हैं और जहां स्वाद की सौगात भी है। नमस्कार, मैं हूं पल्लवी। सोमवार से शुक्रवार 9 से 12 तक रेडियो फिजी 2 देश की धड़कन पर घर संसार में शामिल रहिए मेरे साथ। ऐसा सुंदर सपना अपना।
Just over 9 hours remain until the Vodafone Flying Fijians and the Wallabies go into battle at the Rugby World Cup. Fiji will be hoping to make amends after its loss to England, while Australia will want to get its tournament campaign off on the right foot. But for one Flying Fijian making his third appearance at the tournament, it will be all or nothing. Inder Singh with more from Cardiff, Wales.
The reports and updates of the Rugby World Cup is proudly presented by Vodafone, Power to You, and Airports Fiji Limited, creating new experiences, Fiji's gateway to the world. In association with FMF, the right choice. Total Exilium New Generation, the fuel that cleans your engine kilometer after kilometer. Sun Insurance, for Fijians by Fijians. Supported by Fiji Airways, Deluxe, Island Chill, Comfort Home Furnishing, Rooster Chicken, Legal Aid, Land Transport Authority, and Central Rentals.
These stands will be filled to capacity with the roofs closed, and the Flying Fijians know there is nothing less than a polished performance required.
Yes, we've trained very hard with the rest of the group, and we're looking forward to our game tomorrow against Australia.
Lovan Balavu with partner Verniki Ngoneva in the midfield and will be up against the likes of Tevita Kurandrani and Matt Giteau, who has proved to be Fiji's nemesis in recent time.
Yeah, intelligent player is one of the key players in the team, and he's gonna add speed and another options in attack for the Australians.
Coach John McKee has reiterated that spirits are high in camp despite the English loss, as the players had a walkthrough of the venue while the kickers rehearsed of what they will be expected to do.
Oh, look, the spirit of the team's very high. There's a strong strength and unity in the team, and they're really focused on their performance.
Fiji hasn't beaten Australia since 1954, a long-standing losing streak, but tomorrow is all about keeping alive in the World Cup.
We've had a long time together in terms of developing our game plan and the basis of our training. So it's not about how long we spend on the training field. It's just how focused we are on doing what we need to do.
What holds under the closed roof of the Millennium Stadium tomorrow will only be known after the dust settles. Well, not so much of the dust here at the Millennium Stadium, but when the final whistle is blown. Indra Singh, FBC Sports.
And Indra Singh joins us live now from Wales. Good evening, Indra. How's things building up in camp ahead of tomorrow's crucial match?
Very good morning, Jamie, from Swansea, and as you said, good evening in Fiji. It's game day here already in Wales. Swansea about an hour away from the games venue of Cardiff, where the match will be played at the Millennium Stadium under the closed roof. So it's a first-time experience for the most of the players, while some have played here previously. The mood is building. They know that this game is very much important to the side. The side needs to win this game to at least stay alive and truly stay in contention for a quarter-final berth at the Rugby World Cup in the so-called pool of death. But Japan against South Africa earlier on in the tournament is laying the platform for Tier 2 nations and teams like Fiji that the big guns can be beaten here at the World Cup. It's amazing that Fiji is up against a long-standing losing record that dates back up until for 54 years. And that was the last time Fiji drew 3-3 against Australia in Melbourne. And the last time Fiji beat Australia was on 26th of June 1954. 1816 in Sydney. So that's been a long time between drinks. So they are waiting and they're hoping that today will play a time that this record's come to end. But it's all about the World Cup because Fiji needs a win. England has won a game already. Wales has won a game already. Australia is starting its campaign and Fiji in its second game. The fans will be out in numbers. That's the word we're getting from the Fijian community to support our Flying Fijians. And just a request from the boys and from the team management for people back at home, please support the boys. And just your messages and kind words does inspire and encourage these boys who will be playing for their nation and as they call it, Tosu Viti here at the Millennium Stadium. Back to you, Jamie.
Thank you very much for that update, Indra. Now, Fijian Wallaby centre Tevita Kurandrani says family links will be set aside when his team takes on the Flying Fijians tomorrow. Kurandrani and cousin Nemani Nandolo have both been named in the starting 15 for their respective teams. Inder Singh was at the Australian team training in Wales today and filed this report.
The game, which started in Fiji during their childhood, will go one step further when Australia takes on Fiji.
I used to come back to Fiji much for holidays, and we used to always play on the beach. So yeah, we didn't imagine that we would be playing, big stage later on.
They are close off the field just like usual cousins, but come tomorrow it will be each man for his nation.
Yeah, it was back then we were still young, always competing against each other. But it was always fun playing rugby on the beach, and yeah.
The Aussies are wary of the fact that Fiji has a game under its belt already and are not short of match fitness.
They've got very dangerous backs, and I think with Ben Volavola they've got someone who can control the game quite well.
One player who is sure to keep the Fijians busy is flanker Michael Hooper, whose combination with David Pocock is a major talking point.
We had nothing to go off previously, a couple off the bench, whether it be myself or him working together. But yeah, it was pretty good and worked that night nicely, I guess. And looking forward to getting more time out in the field to, like you said, develop the roles further.
Both teams on the different ends of the scale, with one starting its campaign and one trying to stay alive, take to the enclosed arena. One thing for sure, there will be sparks, and this will sure raise the decibel sound level at the Millennium Stadium. Indra Singh, FBC Sports.
Meanwhile, last night, in the presence of family and friends, the Flying Fijians were presented with its playing jerseys. The presentation was done by former British Army SAS soldier Sekonaya Takavesi, who told the players they needed to play their hearts out and get on top of Australia from the opening whistle. He also reminded them that all Fijians in the UK and around the world will be with the side in support. And today, FBC Sports took to the streets to find out what fans thought of the Flying Fijians' performance in its opening game and its chances in its remaining pool matches. Here's what they had to say.
Yes, I think so. Fiji can beat Australia. If Japan can beat South Africa, why can't Fiji beat Australia?
Anything is possible in this game of sport. If South Africa can be beaten, why can't Australia be beaten? Fiji played a very good game. It's just last 15 to 20 minutes at the end of the game that we went a bit down, and there are reasons for it. If they improve on those reasons, for sure Fiji can win.
We all want Fiji to win, but I believe Australia will come out victorious because of the preparation they have put into their build-up for the World Cup.
Well, I believe any team is beatable at this World Cup. It's a very competitive one. What I wanted to see from Fiji is just improve their game from the last game. Play more clinical rugby, get the balls in their hands, keep possession, throw it around. We'll see. They're going to give the Wallabies a good run of their money. So go Fiji, go.
I believe Fiji will win, seeing as the coach has put his trust in the players, so should we.
One of Fiji rugby legends, Pio Bosco Tiko Isuva, is tipping the national side to improve from its first World Cup outing on Saturday. The man who led Fiji to a historic victory over the British Lions in 1977 says the national side did not fully utilize its potential, especially in the backline.
Now that they have really advanced well in their set pieces, they now have left out what used to be the strength of Fiji rugby team, which is the Flying Fijian, by utilizing the ball, spreading the ball around, using the running ability that we have.
And you can catch more from Tiko Isuva during the Rugby World Cup build-up show at 3:30 a.m. tomorrow, right before the Fiji-Australia match. And remember, you can watch the entire tournament live right here on FBC TV. That's it from Sports Tonight. Good evening.
The new Nausori market is officially open for business. Benefiting most from this $1 million project are the market vendors who are singing praises about the new look. Out with the old and in with the new. The new Nausori market has heads turning and people talking. The refurbishment, valued in the millions, provides proper parking for shoppers and a huge selection of fresh local produce. There are also many outlets within the main market area, such as Bentley's Fish and Chips, Tita Toka and more. A handicraft section allows more space for the ladies to work on their craft, and there's a bigger section for Yongona sellers. Behind the market complex, a fish market with an array of fish to select from and a special kai market at one end. Vendors are thrilled with their new setup.
I come from Nakelo, Mbretu. I really like this new market.
It's marvelous. I love this place, the first time I came in here today.
I'm so happy that we have moved to this new market. It's very convenient to us, to all the vendors, because in our old market during the rainy season, we really struggle hard.
We are thankful for the new fish market. The difference is that the old fish market has so many doors, whereas the new one has only one door.
And now we move into our new market, which is really good, and we like the customers and even the things we're selling. It's really great.
The new Nausori market has a capacity for 1,200 market vendors, compared to the old market that could only cater to 500 vendors. Operating hours are from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Saturday. The Minister for Finance, Ayaz Said Qayyum, has clarified media reports that funds totaling $100 million were unaccounted for are incorrect. Said Qayyum also pointed out the manner in which the Fiji Times handled the report was irresponsible. Ellen Stolz reports.
Finance Minister Ayaz Said Qayyum says the newspaper failed to get accurate information.
It gives a detailed explanation as to what these amounts are and what these amounts are allocated for. The $100 million that was very loosely referred to is the average amount allocated to Head 50 over a period of 15 years.
Said Qayyum also added that the 3 articles published by the Fiji Times contained a number of misquotations and omits the actual context within which the answers were given. He also said committee members need to understand they cannot be commenting on issues that are being discussed without having all the information with them.
The Public Accounts Committee needs to give their findings in the report. And this is why we have said previously, running commentaries, in particular when there are matters that involve finances.
Said Qayyum also mentioned that there were several other anomalies in the Auditor General's report, where there seems to have been a lack of understanding of commercial transactions by the Auditor General's office. PAC Chairman Prasad says Finance Minister should not be involved in the work of the committee.
We had requested an analysis of Head 50 from 2000 to 2014. And we were delivered that yesterday, and that will now be discussed by the Public Accounts Committee.
The Fiji Times editor-in-chief, Fred Wesley, said his team had sent numerous emails and made calls, but to no avail. Said Qayyum added that going forward, all individuals, including journalists and members of the committee, should tread carefully to ensure information is correct. Ellen Stolz, FBC News.
Cloudy conditions with some showers were experienced over most parts of the country. A trough of low pressure extends southeast from Solomon Islands to Tonga. Another trough remains slow-moving over western Kiribati. Suvanandi and Savusavu recorded the lowest temperature at 25 degrees. Lautoka and Ba stood at 26, while Mombasa managed a high of 31 degrees. Forecast for tomorrow is cloudy with some showers over most places, and the further outlook is to expect more showers. The main points again: the government has secured a new sovereign bond from a US insurer to pay off a previous bond which matures next year. 15 people were arrested by the police for protesting outside the Australian High Commission in Tamavua, Suva today, and Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama will be highlighting Fiji's fight against climate change at the United Nations General Assembly in New York. Now to our poll segment. This week we're asking, is the level of police visibility on the road satisfactory? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. You've been watching FBC News. I'm Jackie Spade. Bye for now.